sunset out here.
The New Hour Family Foundation supports WHYY's Fresh Air and its commitment to sharing ideas and encouraging meaningful conversation. Support for NPR comes from this station and from the Kauffman Foundation, providing access to opportunities that help people achieve financial stability, upward mobility, and economic prosperity, regardless of race, gender, or geography. Kauffman.org. And from Lilly Endowment, a private foundation supporting NPR's coverage of religion and spirituality.
Check out the Church of Judas to replace all patriarchy, Christianity, war, and Trumpism.
In the 1800s, people came to Colorado in droves to find gold, but more people came to get rid of something: tuberculosis. Until a vaccine for TB, physicians prescribed Colorado's clean, dry, mountain air and sunshine to treat what was then the nation's leading cause of death. Patients, including poet Robert Frost and gambler Doc Holliday, came in the hundreds, then the thousands. Sanatoriums, the state, some of which later became kids were sent outdoors into healthy air. Women shortened skirts so hens wouldn't drag in dirty streets. Men cut beards thought to carry germs. And Colorado's population exploded from 40,000 in 1870 to more than 1 million in 1930. Driven mostly by people who were not looking to strike it rich, but as historian Gene Abrams put it, came for health, not wealth.
The Colorado 150 postcard, supported by Denver Zoo Conservation Alliance.
This is Fresh Air Weekend. I'm Tanya Mosley. Let's get back to Terry's interview with record producer Peter Asher. Americans first knew him as half of the 60s British invasion band Peter and Gordon. Their hits included A World Without Love, Nobody I Know, and I Go to Pieces. Asher went on to become a Grammy-winning record producer. His first two enduring music related
time in the late 60s. Gordon Waller, your singing partner, decided he wanted to go solo.
Yeah.
And you knew that you wanted to produce recordings.
I did. The minute I went into the recording studio and figured out what producers did, I thought this would be so cool. You know, I love the idea of being able to influence the arrangement and mix and sound and identity, musical identity of a song.
Before you had produced any record, you became the first A&R man for the Beatles' new Apple record label. A&R stands for Artists and Repertoire. Describe what your job was.
Well, Apple took this very bold step of actually soliciting tapes, because normally there's kind of no unsolicited material was supposed to be sent in to most major record companies. But we actually took ads going, you know, send your tapes to Apple Records, and God, did they ever. We got giant mailbags full of tapes, and the sad thing was they mostly were not any good. And not just that, it'd be weird stuff, like somebody sends in 100 pages of lyrics that they know John Lennon is anxiously awaiting to write music for, and things like that. You'd suddenly realize there's an awful lot of odd people out there who think they need to be signed to Apple Records. But eventually, of course, we did find a few good people, but usually not, sadly, through the unsolicited tapes. They usually came through connections or friends or coincidences, like me meeting James and things like that.
Well, the first person you signed was James Taylor, and you did not find him in the slush pile. How did you find him?
Well, when Gordon and I played America, we were supplied backup bands kind of locally. There'd be some promoter in, say, the Midwest or something would find a band to back you up, and usually would just find an out-of-work local group who would do it for cheap. And so the quality of those bands varied enormously. But one band that I actually liked that came to us in that manner was a band called the King Bees. And one of the King Bees was a guitar player called Danny Korchmar. And Danny and I became great friends. We remain great friends to this day. He's a brilliant guitar player and a remarkable man. And then subsequently, Danny was in a band with his childhood friend, James Taylor. That band was called The Flying Machine, and it suffered all the vicissitudes that living in New York could convey. And, you know, there were drug problems and money problems and food problems and all this other stuff going on. So finally that band broke up. James decided to go to London, and when Danny found this out, he said to James, "You should look at my friend Peter Asher, he's okay." So that's how I got my phone rang, and this guy on said, you know, very sort of cultured, slightly southern accent said, explained that he was a friend of Cooch's. And I said, great, if you're in London, come over. Come and visit. So he came to dinner the following evening, and he'd already made a demo tape the previous week. And he played me a couple of songs on the tape, and I was completely blown away. And then he picked up my guitar, and just leaning in the corner of the room, and played me something live. And I couldn't believe it. I thought his guitar playing was exceptional, his singing was exceptional, and the songs were brilliant.
One of my favorite James Taylor recordings is Fire and Rain from his second album, Sweet Baby James, which of course you produced. And it's a song about a friend who died by suicide. Did he tell you the story behind the song?
A little bit. He's told it publicly. Yeah. Suzanne was a friend who had killed herself, and I think people didn't want to tell him or something. So there was some delay in him actually getting the information. And of course, there's the thing about flying machines in pieces on the ground, and it's been much misinterpreted, and people think it relates to a plane crash, and it doesn't at all. The flying machine was the band, as I explained before, that he was in with Cooch that broke up, so that was the flying machine in pieces on the ground.
So I want to play Fire and Rain, which was recorded in 1970, and I want our listeners to know that it's Carole King on piano. And
Yes.
After we hear this, you can explain why and how you got her to play.
I don't think we can play the song, but just yesterday morning, they let me know you were gone. Suzanne's plans they made put an end to you. Woke up this morning and I wrote down this song. Just can't remember who to send it to. Oh, I've seen fire and I've seen rain. I've seen sunny days that I thought would never end. I've seen lonely times when I could not find a friend. But I always thought that I'd see you again. Why don't you look down on me, Jesus? You gotta help me take a stand.
Danny Korchmar is a key figure yet again in this story, because when I came out to LA, I wanted to put together a little band to play on the whole track, and because I wanted to keep it much simpler than the preceding album had been, and to make sure that every song was based entirely around the arrangement that was sort of self-contained in his guitar playing and his singing. And I found a drummer called Russ Kunkel, and Danny Korchmar himself was going to play guitar, obviously. And then I was trying to choose a piano player. And by this time, I'd heard some of Carole King's demos. I already was a huge fan of hers. Puffin and King wrote so many of my favorite songs. Of course, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow being the first one when she was 18, that was number one all over the place. And that went on to do, Natural Woman and I'm Into Something Good and Up on the Roof. And I loved Carole King's piano playing specifically because it was very much an accompanist's kind of piano playing. Not flashy, not complicated, but just right, sort of singer-songwriter piano. So I got to meet Carole through Danny Korchmar. I then asked Carole if she would consider playing on this James Taylor album that we were about to make. I said, I would need you for about 5 days. I love your playing. I think you and James would sound great together. And she said, maybe. And she didn't know who James was. So I invited her over to my house where James was staying at this point. And she sat down next to James at the piano bench. James played his guitar and she started playing piano. I suggested they just sit and start playing. And it worked perfectly. I thought her piano playing was exactly what I had in mind. And James loved her too, and of course he was a Carole fan already. And so we sort of booked Carole, as it were, as a studio musician for the next 5 days. And that was when we recorded every track on Sweet Baby James. And if you look, you'll see that Carole King is credited on piano on every one of them.
And that's how Carole King and James Taylor became friends and collaborators.
Yes, exactly so.
I want to thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah, it was
The
great.
film is fascinating. The documentary about you called Everywhere Man. And I wish you good health and continued performances and producing.
Thank you very much indeed.
Peter Asher speaking with Terry Gross.
That was good.
Netflix is presenting a new version of Little House on the Prairie based on the popular series of books by Laura Ingalls Wilder. All 8 episodes of season 1 are available to stream, and Netflix has already ordered a season 2. Our TV critic David Bianculli has some thoughts about this new
All he's going to do is spoil everything by just telling us the plot.
From 1974 as well.
Great.
Here is his review.
When Laura Ingalls Wilder started writing her Little House on the Prairie book series in the early 1930s, it was as a fond salute to her own childhood memories. Laura was born shortly after the Civil War in 1867 in the very log cabin she describes in her first book, Little House in the Big Woods. That book and her later ones detailed the joys, the difficulties, and the hard work involved in pioneer life, as seen and told from the perspective of a precocious young girl. Laura loved her ma and pa and her siblings, but she observed them all carefully and perceptively. She was to Little House on the Prairie what John Boy was to the Waltons, another nostalgic family TV series set during an earlier time, in that case, the Depression. The characters of both John Boy and Laura displayed a gift for writing early on and narrated their family's stories. When Michael Landon, after spending years as Little Joe on Bonanza, brought Little House on the Prairie to NBC in the 1970s, he cast himself as the patriarch, Pa Ingalls. But the storytelling, as in the books, belonged to little Laura, played in that series by a young Melissa Gilbert.
If I had a remembrance book, I would mark down how it was when we left our little house in the big woods to go west to Indian Territory.
That Little House series was very popular and ran from 1974 to 1983. Especially in the early episodes, it was faithful to the original books and characters. When an Osage Indian chief came by the Ingalls cabin, Pa invited him in for a sit and a smoke. Ma was frightened, as was Laura's elder sister, and was relieved when he left. But Laura was charmed and sympathetic to his tribe's plight. What Laura says in that 1974 premiere may sound like liberal Hollywood rewriting, but the empathic dialogue, like much of the TV series, came straight from the original books.
Goodness, he's gone.
Why? I thought it was kind of nice.
Poor Indian.
I wouldn't be upset about it. A few months from now, there won't be an Indian left in the territory.
But why not, Pa?
Government's gonna make a move, Half-Pint.
Move where?
West, I guess.
I'm glad. I'm not. Does so Dr. Shane have to go too, even though he's a chief?
I'm afraid so.
It's not fair. They were here first.
The new incarnation of Little House on the Prairie is created for TV by Rebecca Sonnenschein. Her writing credits include Housemaid and episodes of the TV series The Boys and The Vampire Diaries.
Oh gosh, I saw
She and the
Vampire
show's other
Diaries.
writers,
Wow.
as well as the directors, take some liberties with their new version.
Good luck.
They introduce an entire family of Osage characters, for example, to present another set of family dynamics. One thing they
interesting.
don't mess with, though, is Laura as the central voice. She's played here by Alice Halsey, whom you may remember as the brilliant daughter on Lessons in Chemistry. And her
Didn't see it.
performance is the show's very best, a show that starts, as before, with Laura's opening narration.
Once upon a time, Pa and Ma and Mary and Laura left their house in the big woods of Wisconsin. Ma was sad to leave her life behind, but Pa said it was getting too crowded and we needed a fresh start in the West. Every day, the horses traveled as far as they could, and Pa and Ma made camp in a new
You're
place.
welcome.
Warren Christie is another standout. He plays John Edwards, a Civil War veteran and sometimes drunken loner who agrees to help the Ingalls build their log cabin before winter sets in. Charles, that's Pa to Laura, likes him, but Caroline, that's Ma, fears him as much as she does the Osage and sends him away. Luke Bracey plays Pa, and Crosby Fitzgerald plays Caroline.
He's not coming back. He was drinking here at our home. He said he didn't do it while you worked, but I didn't believe him.
What'd you say?
I told him not to come back until he didn't need something to chase the
It
shit.
doesn't work like that. You don't just snap your fingers and make it go away.
It's like you know that fascism is bad. It's like you're admitting that you're anti-fascist, except you're a
His girls
fascist.
were gone. He got chewed up and spit out by that godforsaken war.
You knew. You knew and you didn't say anything?
Caroline, we are alone at sea. We don't have room for this obsession with virtue.
It's not virtue. I don't want to lose my family
We
again.
can't finish this house without it.
Their argument is intense, but as filmed, there's something off about it. Like many other scenes in this new Little House on the Prairie, it's shot by handheld cameras in extreme close-up and calls too much attention to itself. Also, some of the dramatic plot points that work so well in the books and in the NBC series are less effective here because they're not established or presented as well. The familiar title of Little House on the Prairie may bring lots of viewers to this new version, but I can't say it really resonates.
Celebrating the death
Except
of
for the
fascists?
performances of Alice Halsey as Laura
You're
and
complaining
Lauren
about
Christie as
fascists
Mr.
dying?
Edwards. But I will say that the
Sounds like you're a
entire
fascist.
original series of Little House on the Prairie is available to stream on Peacock. And when I dove back in there to refresh my memory, that series really did resonate.
David Bianculli is Fresh Air's TV critic. Coming up, we hear from romance novelist Kennedy Ryan. Her characters are the people romance has often left at the margins: Black and Indigenous, queer women, people living with disabilities. This is Fresh Air Weekend.
You're so stupid.
Support for NPR comes from
He
this
wasn't a
station
fascist. Lindsey Graham
and
wasn't a
from
fascist. See,
FJC,
Lindsey Graham was a super
foundation of
fascist.
donor-advised funds working to maximize the impact of charitable giving and to create customized philanthropic solutions. Learn more at fjc.org. And from the George Lucas Educational Foundation, creator of Edutopia. For 35 years, sharing what works in schools today and working to inspire new ways to learn tomorrow. More at edutopia.org.
Hi, I'm Philip Sneed. I'm President and CEO of the Arvada Center for the Arts and Humanities, and we sponsor CPR. Sponsoring is a cost-effective way to reach a very specific segment of audiences. When we run a sponsorship schedule, we consistently see an uptick in ticket sales. The benefits for cultural organizations to reach the CPR audience, as well as invest in a community resource, is worth every penny. Learn about sponsoring at cpr.org.
I'm not an artist, something two art instructors hear a lot as they visit retirement communities across the Front Range. Many of their clients have dementia.
Someone who can't hold a paintbrush, we'll just have them hold the paintbrush with our hand on their hand and get them to move something around.
Art teachers the Alzheimer's Association handpicked in Colorado Matters. At 9 from CPR News and KRCC.
Aging Matters is brought to you in part by the Denver Hospice.
This is Fresh Air Weekend. I'm Tanya Mosley. Say the words romance novel and watch what happens. Some people light up, others roll their eyes. Almost nobody is neutral. It's the best-selling fiction in the world, outselling mysteries and thrillers, and yet it's still the genre people feel they have to defend or apologize for. I've always wanted to know what makes a writer choose a genre that has historically been shunned by critics in mainstream publishing. My guest today, Kennedy Ryan, is one of those writers, and in some ways her path is typical of the field. For one, Kennedy Ryan isn't her real name. Many romance writers use pen names. She didn't get her first publishing deal until 40, which is also common. 45 is the average age of the genre's most successful writers. Kennedy Ryan's love for romance began in middle school when she'd sneak the books past her mom, who was a preacher. She came back to it after building a career in journalism and autism advocacy. Her characters are the people romance often leaves at the margins. Black and Indigenous, queer women, people living with disabilities, navigating ambition, caregiving, and grief. Ryan builds them the way she once built news stories, by going out and interviewing real people first. Ryan is the first Black writer to win romance's highest honor, the Romance Writers of America Award, known as the Rita. Her best-selling novel, Before I Let Go, is being adapted for Peacock, and her latest book, Score, follows two former college sweethearts reunited while making a film about the Harlem Renaissance. Kennedy Ryan, welcome to Fresh Air.
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here.
The paradox is really interesting to me because millions of people read fiction, but people are so drawn to romance. Romance outsells every other kind of fiction, but critics have been kind of condescending about it for hundreds of years. You looked at romance and decided this is where you want to go. You want to go all in. What was it about romance for you?
Yeah, I think like you said, I was young when I first discovered romance. I think it was one of my first introductions to seeing what relationships looked like. Besides, obviously, the one that was in my house, which was very healthy, fortunately, with my mom and my dad. But I think the escape of it too. I mean, I was only in the 8th grade, but I liked being transported kind of to another world, and there was a glamour to it, especially then. So this is like the heyday of the bodice rippers and Harlequin Presents, and so it was usually a very glamorous kind of setting. And I was living in rural North Carolina with like deer on my front porch, you know. So the glamour of it, I think, really drew me, and just this idea that you could be in another world, and also that just kind of seeing women, especially, loved and esteemed and at the center of something. I was a voracious reader, so I was reading a lot of things, but romance quickly became my favorite. I left it a little bit after high school, but in my 30s I came back because it was an escape, and I think it was a reflection of a lot of hopes and dreams and desires and needs, and I think that's what draws a lot of people to it.
Feeling lucky. Well,
it follows two
on the other
former
hand,
college sweethearts who broke up badly a decade before, and they're kind of thrown back together, making a film about the Harlem Renaissance. And Verity is the main woman character, and she's a screenwriter. She also has bipolar disorder, and I don't think I've ever read a book about love and desire from the point of view of a person with a mental illness. How did you come to decide to give your character this type of backstory?
I am interested in writing the stories of people who don't typically see themselves at the center of cultural narrative. And you know what I mean by that is usually it's not the, it has been the Black girl, the fat girl, the sick girl, the disabled girl. She was the sidekick. She was a secondary or a tertiary character, but she certainly wasn't at the very center. And she wasn't the one who was getting the happily ever after. And I want to take those identities and those experiences and those communities that have been on the periphery of cultural narrative and set them firmly at the center. This is the second book in the series. The first book was a heroine who has lupus. You're not reading a lot about, I mean, not that it doesn't happen at all, but there aren't a lot of romance novels that are focused on women who are navigating lupus, you know, and now women.
There are a lot of women who, particularly Black women, who suffer from lupus. It's one of the
all right, I'll be back in a little bit.
diseases. So you've done a lot of research here.
Who we got in the chat? Oh, JD Advance is here. Still here, JD Advance?
Yeah, for sure. And I think a big part of this series and
they got deported.
What I write is
he said Florida, Lindsey Graham and Charlie Kirk both have been deported.
What I mean by that is we all hope that there is someone who's going to love
us
through hard times, through
Donald
bad times, through difficult situations. You know, in real, the book before
Lindsey Graham never got the chance to come out of the closet.
Lupus, she's going through a flare, you know, and she's self-conscious because she has
outed though.
she has bald spots, and her body, she is in a bad
battle. And yet, this romantic
Flannery
partner,
O'Connor had
he's
lupus.
impervious of all of that. Like, he's like, I love you. I'm here for you. I'm going to stand by you. You
I
just
don't know if
be
Flannery O'Connor
surprised
had
at
that,
all of
but
the
I think she's talking about a
emails,
character in a
messages,
romance
and
novel.
DMs that I get from women who are living with chronic illnesses who are incredibly moved by that, because that is their hope. You know, their hope is that there is someone in real life who
It doesn't
will
remind them
love
of someone that
way.
actually exists.
Are not as good as other groups. I can create a world where we are guaranteed joy.
I want to go back to your childhood for a moment. You growing up in a small town in North Carolina. When you say small, how small are we talking?
It was so small that like it had a phone number for one town. We had a P.O. box, no, a route. We had a route for our mailing address. And I went to school for another town. Like, it was between small towns. Basically, this is a strip of land that my grandfather owned. And like, as far as the eye could see, it was just farmland that he owned. And he sold off all of these plots of land to put his kids, I think it's 12 of them. My dad will kill me because I get it wrong. But put all of his kids through college. And he kept a plot of land for each of them. And that was our community. So you're talking about basically community of my family. It's my uncle living to the left, and it's my uncle living to the right, and it's my uncle, you know, living in front of me who's raising hogs, and on a Christmas morning brings us a little white cheesecloth bag with slaughtered, you know, sausage. It's pear and peach trees in my backyards, you know, a grapevine, it's cherry trees, it's a garden. My dad coming straight home from work, going straight to like pull collard greens and string beans. I am a country girl, you know.
Through and through. It sounds like it. Yes.
Through and through, yes.
Your dad was also a college administrator for several HBCUs, historically black colleges. It's interesting because they feature prominently in many of your books. They're often HBCUs are there. He was an academic, and your mother a preacher.
Yes. Yes. Well, I mean, and my mom had a full-time job. She was a dental hygienist, but she also was a preacher. And then later on, that's what she did full-time. Now they have a church together. But yeah, so I mean, I grew up. She was monitoring what I you know, what I ingested. I completely understand that, because we now have parental controls and all of those things. But as an 8th grader, you're just like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. I'm gonna sneak around and do it if you tell me that I can't do it. So yeah, but it's a funny story for us now, because I did not tell her until I was in my 30s that I had hidden all those romance novels from her. She thought I had stopped reading them. So
because after she told you to stop, you continued, and then you just collected them, so many that you kind of had a little stockpile in your closet.
Oh yeah, in my closet. Oh yeah, hundreds and hundreds of romance novels, like hidden at the back of my closet behind clothes. And it was like
Lindsey Graham's not in
my
the closet
30s
anymore.
when I was like, you know, when you told me to stop reading romance novels, I didn't. You know.
I want to go to a very, very important, pivotal moment in your life that really changed things for you. It was before you started writing fiction. Your son, you have one son, he was diagnosed with autism, 2 years old, and the very next day, your husband loses his job.
Yeah.
Take me to that week.
Oh, one of the toughest weeks of my life. I think, because my son is now 25, and 23 years ago, like, the landscape for autism was very different than it is now. Like, we didn't have a lot of the solutions. We didn't have a lot of the supports, the waivers.
She helped get a lot of,
you know, the financial
solutions
support,
and networks.
Insurance. Everything was considered experimental.
We still don't have what we need here in America.
Out of pocket for everything. And then I think there was just a lot we didn't know. Like, literally, when the doctor diagnosed my son, he told me that told my husband to give me time to grieve. That's the word he used. And he said, you know, motherhood is going to be just so different than what she thought it would be. And it has been very different than I thought it would be. I think, you know, autism is a spectrum, and it looks different for different people. And my son is very impacted. Even at 25, he's still only partially verbal, you know, he kind of works at his own time. You know, there are certain benchmarks that I thought he would reach when he was 10 that he still hasn't reached, or that he reached much later. One of the things I think that this journey has taught me is not to compare myself, my son, our life to anyone else's.
Things got really dark. You're in this moment. The healthcare system has not really caught up to what it needs to for you as a mother. And the financial impact was it was a lot for you in that time.
Yeah.
Instead of only surviving it, though, you built this advocacy group, then a therapy group for couples going through it. And Kennedy, I just always marvel at people who build the thing they need when they have the least amount of resources or power. And when did you realize you'd have to build the thing that didn't exist in order for you to actually survive?
Yeah, I think it kind of a lot of times came down to, am I going to pay for therapy or am I going to pay my light bill? And I was like, we shouldn't have to make these decisions. My husband and both of our cars were repossessed. We woke up one morning, the cars were gone.
The car's gone. Hold on, you guys see this though. That's what's so great about living in Colorado. Everything. Especially just like the most beautiful sunsets you ever see. Every single night almost. Or most nights. You see a beautiful sunset like you've never seen before. And it's fantastic. I love it out here. So, hope you have pretty sunsets where you are too. See how great that is? It's just great all the time. But I want to hear more of this interview.
In school, and when it's summer, a lot of those kids weren't getting those services anymore. So I raised money so that we could supplement and that we could pay for that. And then we had a lot of couples were experiencing
hold on a second.
marital strain.
Something else you gotta see.
Whether it's at the very beginning or people who have been
It's
in
a
this
Pee Wee
really,
Herman.
really long time and are worn down. We started
Pee Wee
doing
Herman
marriage
sticker.
retreats. We also started paying for
A lot of
couples
one.
therapy. And then I thought about, gosh, if it's
Pretty
this
cool.
hard for me and I have a partner, how hard is it for people who are single parents? And then we started programming that was specifically targeting single parents and their entire family, like all of their children. So for me, it was just kind of like a reflection of the gaps that I was seeing.
Okay.
So you're going through all of that.
That Pee Wee Herman sticker
What
was a
it like
reflection
at
of the
night?
gaps that I'm seeing.
You're sitting at a computer and then writing romance? Is that how it worked, or how?
Yeah, you're like, how did we get here? My husband found a job, and it took him away a lot at night. And so it was just me and my son, and this is when he was younger. And a lot of kids who are on the spectrum are fascinated with water. And my son was so fixated on water. He and I would go to this river, because we lived in Atlanta at the time. We lived in Atlanta for 20 years. You know, that's kind of home to us for the most part. I would take him to this river in Atlanta every evening, and he would you know. And as I was sitting there, this community built around a river called Rivermont just started kind of in my imagination, and it became the centerpiece for the first series
that makes me think of fairies.
The Bennett series.
The fairies that
just
live
sitting
on the
riverbank every
inspiring.
night, watching my son play in the water. I just became 4 books, you know.
Kennedy Ryan, thank you so much for this conversation.
Thanks, Kennedy Ryan.
Oh, thank you.
I want to read your
for
book.
having me.
Romance novelist Kennedy Ryan. She's the first Black author to win the Rita, romance's highest honor, and she's published more than 20 novels in just over a decade. Her latest novel is called Score.
I don't know if we can listen to music.
Produced by Teresa Madden. Fresh Air's executive producer is Sam Brer. Our technical director and engineer is Audrey Bentham. Our engineer this week is Adam Stanishevsky. Our digital media producer is Molly C.B. Nesper. With Terry Gross, I'm Tanya Mosley.
General saxophone. Great.
PR comes from this station and from the.
Oh, hello.
And I was getting out of the shower in this like cloud of steam, drying off, putting like moisturizer on my face, and I went
Getting out of the shower so spooky.
to leave the bathroom barefoot.
Why is it so spooky?
To go into my bedroom.
Step on a Lego?
Right next door, to get dressed.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. Why is it so spooky?
I lifted my foot up to take a step into the hallway.
And she's gonna put it on a Lego.
But right before it touched the floor, I felt these thready little legs on the bottom of my foot.
Oh yeah.
And I looked down, and there
There's a spider.
on its back was a gigantic
Cockroach.
roach.
Yes.
And I wait.
That's gonna kill the roach.
And she's looking at the roach and looking at me. And I'm like, do the thing. But she just walks away. So then I'm like, pull yourself together. Like,
stuff.
You have to square up against the roach.
Giant or dead roach.
Right.
Okay.
So,
3 minutes.
I put on yellow rubber gloves, and then I get a wad of paper towels, saturated in water, grab toilet bowl cleaner, you know, like the blue gel, squirt a bunch of it into the paper towel, and from like 3 feet away, toss it so that it lands gel down on top of the roach. And then I take a shoe and holding it like as far away from my body as I can get it, I'm just like and then I take a trash bag, scoop it up and stick it in there, and then tie it up super tight. And then it goes into the trash chute.
In Gaza, Sudan, and all sorts of places.
And standing there
Not doing anything
in rubber gloves next to the trash chute on my birthday, I'm just like, what is wrong with me?
Did she say it was
Like,
her
this
birthday?
is not the first time that this has happened. Every single time I see a roach, I completely unravel. Like, I just go nuts. And I don't even hate bugs in general. It's just something about this bug. I don't know, like, I just snap. And for some reason, when it happened this time, I was like, I'm a whole adult person. I'm a science reporter. This has to stop.
Okay, so is what we're doing here, like it's like how Alex learned to stop worrying and love the roach?
Is this 4-minute intro?
Not really. I'm not really trying to get cozy with roaches.
Get over your fear.
I just want to figure out how to get to a place where I'm not terrified of them. And obviously, I know this is something that a lot of people are afraid of. And I wanted to figure out, you know, something I can do so that the next time I see one, I don't completely lose my mind. So I figured I'd go hang out with people who face basically the worst version of this every single day. Okay. Which is how I ended up at the after party.
Now I'm curious about what New York City pest what?
And also,
oh yeah, I've seen roaches drop off the ceiling.
A ton of people who have been in straight up nightmare scenarios.
I've not Oh well, sorry we can't hear the nightmare, y'all. I don't know what the road was about. Lost it. Lost the road story.
I just trusting to see the pellets come from the mouth down and touch the skin.
I think I might have met her today. And I was like, how are these people like that? like it like that? Well, let's go. Exterminators who agreed to let me follow them around. One named Acacia Fulcher, who Lower East Side. Which is he has his own company.
That has been having some issues with German.
And they just started
You know a guy named Dedrick Simmons?
That is the
That
most
guy.
essential piece of the toolkit.
We went into basements and trash rooms.
Mas ngayon, of course, the status
Saw him a few hours ago.
to places like this.
They showed me how to find signs that roaches were living there.
We'll be looking for marks like this. So it look like pentatonic.
It'll look like pepper, like stuck pepper on the wall.
It's roach droppings.
And, of course, how to kill them.
One like that.
Takes me inside his house, and the first thing he does is take us around the closet with his flashlight. You can see the roaches perched up on the wall. And then he goes to the kitchen sink and he pulls out this jug, and it's this chemical, you know, basically industrial strength grade.
Okay, sorry, the interruption. Be back shortly. Okay. So we're not getting reception on the Ladies Road story, and it's kind of a super boring way to avoid doing anything to stop the genocides. We'll scroll around a little bit. That was Kuvo Jazz Station. That's 107.5, 105.1.
They've met quite a little bit on the internet.
104.3 Sports.
Everything.
101.1 Pop.
I made nearly $300.
103 also Pop. 98.5 sounds like country. Well, they're not getting any reception here. 91.1 sounds like Christian or emo or something.
From the legends.
Hey y'all, this is Alicia Keys.
Today.
This is Bruno Mars. What's up? It's Nicki Minaj.
This is KS 107.5.
Opportunities for France to be able to step up. So
Woodley's makes it easy. So stop into one of what
Courtroom dramas.
They don't get very good radio reception. It's part of town. I just manually put it back on NPR. Still talking about roaches.
Hey guys, I'm Chef Joseph Lee, edible insect ambassador at Puffin Bars, and we're going to show you how to eat all these bugs.
I've seen this YouTube video of him doing like different dishes with bugs.
Yeah, like gourmet dishes.
Yeah, but at the beautiful notes of cricket, umami, and nuttiness. This is perfect.
Oh wait, but you're not gonna.
Well, I just thought if anyone could help me get over that revulsion I feel towards these bugs,
Scorpions literally add so much flavor.
Maybe it's this guy. Like if I could just eat a roach,
Just knowing
maybe it
scorpions
wouldn't be
have
nasty
flavor.
anymore. It would just be a little sick.
Eat a roach?
All right.
And so I sent him an email and I was like, do you ever cook with roaches? And he wrote back to me.
He's really doing exposure therapy.
Like, absolutely not. I'm already having to do a lot of work to convince people that they should eat other bugs. Roaches have such a bad reputation. Like, roaches don't help my cause, basically.
I love that it's a bridge too far for him.
So I went back and forth with him, being like, you're the only person I can possibly think of who could make me like eating a roach.
Yeah.
And then finally,
You bullied him into doing it.
I fear I might have. I fear I might have.
Sounds good.
Don't mind that you did that. You don't mind again that you're spending
Okay,
at
so
least
what happened?
15
Let's do
minutes
it.
talking
What's going
about
on?
this.
Right. So
Instead of doing
me
anything to
and
stop the genocide.
8 of our colleagues.
Can't stop the
Joseph
genocide
had,
with your
like,
airtime.
very, very generously invited us to his home in
All right.
Queens.
We're
Can't stop the kidnapping and concentration camps in America. Can't stop the threats to
So
democracy.
obviously, all of us are really nervous, including
You just
Joseph,
told us in 3
because
seconds.
I've actually eaten an American cockroach before. Started with his usual dishes: crickets, ants, mealworms.
This is the Brood 19 cicadas, and it has a cricket tempura batter on it.
Okay, so this is just a warm-up.
Yeah.
All right.
Delicious. Love it.
And the whole time I'm looking over at the bowl of cockroaches on the counter out of the side of my eye. And by the way, they weren't like random roaches. These were food safe from a lab.
Okay, good to know.
And honestly, I was kind of in denial that any of this was about to happen.
They're quite frightening.
Kind of in denial that it's happening on the radio.
Maybe I'll pull the lights off of them.
First up, dubia roaches.
There might be innards that squirt in the mouth.
Fried. I can't really taste anything, which is ideal. Oh,
It's menthol.
something poked the inside of my mouth.
It's a leg? You think it's a leg?
I don't know what it was, but I hated it.
You're doing really good.
Next, Madagascar hissing cockroaches. And he had blanched these and done nothing else.
That's a cockroach, but still a cockroach.
He put them on a cutting board and sliced them so we could slurp the insides out like an oyster.
It looks like cottage cheese.
But this one was not that bad.
It has like a really umami smell.
Much better. It was like eggs.
Huh.
And then finally, my arch nemesis, the American cockroach.
Oh.
So he grabs some kind of cooking oil, throws it in a pan, and adds all these aromatics like garlic, red pepper, and then he throws in the roaches.
You know what? It has kind of a chemical to it that the other two didn't have. It's kind of weird.
How long he was like sauteing these freaking roaches. Bite.
What does it taste like?
You don't have to.
And the look on his face made me feel really guilty.
I mean, I spit out what I ate.
Terrestrial's producer, Alan Gafinsky, also tried it.
You ultimately didn't try the thing.
I mean,
You
doesn't,
did all this to get people to make and eat.
Oh yeah, there it is. Well, initially it just kind of, I just was tasting sort of the garlic, like an onion, but that smell that you guys have been smelling it's also a taste. It tastes like something that you shouldn't eat. Yeah. Yeah.
What is the roachy smell like?
Kind of like medicinal, but in like a foul, sour kind of way.
So you did not eat it?
No, like according to a bugs as food expert, the American cockroach is literally inedible.
It's a warning sign to me. It's like kind of like, don't eat me. I dare you to eat me. I'll kill you.
Man, this is really not going well.
Yeah, no, the whole thing completely backfired.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a quick break.
Yeah, cleanse our palates.
Yeah,
Can we
but
talk more about
after the
this?
break, things are going to get even messier.
Great.
We'll be right back.
Wait, I won't. Y'all do that on your own. I'm gonna try to do something to stop the genocide. You guys can't be bothered.